Hi there, it's Dave with another Sparking Ninja podcast today, and I've been away for a little bit because I've been so busy and it's been a bit hard to get these down. But last week I was doing training up and down the country. I went up into Scotland, delivered a control panel training course, and went down as far as Nottingham and did some health and safety training. But I'm back to doing 18th edition training this week, and this week I'm actually doing a course with an old client of mine, just a little update, 3-day training course for them, which is about as best that we can do at the moment with the 18th edition. And on this course, there's one lad who's 2 years out of his apprenticeship, so he calls himself, qualified, fully qualified, all this stuff. And we were talking about training standards when we come to talk about the roles, the differences between skilled person and instructed person, and how the competent person term isn't used anymore. And obviously the discussion went down the line of the lowered skill values and things, and he wanted to offload a bit of information about one of his old training providers, JTL, and how they had a strategy of just repeating assessments, and it was a shame, but I guess it's just a sample because JTL is supposed to be a fairly good training provider, I believe. But what really come to surprise really was when we got to talk about things like wiring systems and steel conduit. And he actually said that he's done all of his training, he's done all of his apprenticeship, his NVQ, he's done the AM2, he's done all of this, but throughout his whole college journey he never touched metal fabrication. He never worked on tray, he never worked on trunking, he never worked on steel conduit. He worked on MI, he worked on pyro as he called it, obviously, and he had to work with that cable type in his AM2. But this young lad's obviously come through all of the training, and in a simple discussion amongst electricians about terminating a steel conduit and threading it and deburring it and having the swarf and the smell of the tallow, and he had absolutely no understanding of any of it. And it kind of just took us all back because he's come through all of the system. He's come into site. He's been the site have been told he's a fully qualified electrician. But it was only today when we discussed skills and we actually discussed what skills he had, what skills he hadn't had, that they actually realised that potentially they could have asked him to do some work on a wiring system that he actually has no experience of installing, fabricating, working with, terminating. And it really does kind of bring to the surface how much of a problem we have with the rushing of having people rush through training, and there just seems to be this complacency with some training environments that some essential skills aren't needed anymore. I think moving forward we need to identify all the essential skills and ensure that they are delivered. Now the NVQ3 is supposed to do that, but clearly that's collecting performance evidence. The college training environment at the moment is apparently all about rushing through. Well, I know it is. It's all about rushing you through to achieve your assessment. It's all about completion, because funded training is funded on completion. And you only achieve your full funds when someone actually receives all of the training and achieves the training. So, I don't know. I think having people who are GIB card holders, who are fully qualified, who have done AM2, but they have never touched steel trunking, never touched steel conduit, never touched cable tray. They've definitely been left without through their training, and it's important that we start asking our apprentices, if they are doing these resources that we expect them to be doing at college. If we actually send our, this lad works for a factory, so he's gone to college while being at a factory. His everyday job is maintenance. But they could have easily just asked him to do a little installation work on the side, with him now being considered as a qualified electrician. So I've had a debate with them. I've had a discussion about the need for them to, moving forward, constantly engage with their training providers that they send their apprentices on. But it does kind of make you more aware of these problems that are happening in this training industry right now. I'm going to be doing some more work with different areas of the industry. I was supposed to be going tomorrow to a college in the northwest to do some judging on a panel, but a couple of my colleagues have gone up because I'm busy doing this training down here. We are going to start engaging more with training companies, training colleges, try to get a high level of standard and try and recognise those that are delivering a high standard already, whether they have great amounts of resources or if they don't. And if they don't, then we'll try and find ways to provide them with those resources. It's like we've been discussing in the E5 group just today, because a lot of training companies, a lot of colleges have the right persons in the jobs, but they just don't have the resource. Such as steel conduit to fabricate. Understandably, terminating steel conduit, terminating steel trunking is a cost. It's a cost to the college, and I should imagine if some qualification managers choose not to approach that area of development, they're saving a lot of money for that college. And that might be what's starting to happen here. That might be one of the problems that we've got. Alright guys, well, if you've got apprentices, do ask them if they're doing all the skills you expect them to be doing. If you're an apprentice, ask if you're going to do those skills at your training college, and if not, go back to your employer and let them know. Maybe we need to find, other places that are more suitable. Let me know if there are colleges that aren't allowing you to do these, and we'll contact them and find out what the heck's going on. Okay guys, that was just a quick rant. I'm going to get some more stuff created very soon, but have a good day. Bye bye.